Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. It is time, once again, for some watch news. And tonight we continue to look to the future for inspiration. Some of these pieces are very futuristic. Well, at least one of them is. But that's the theme we're going with tonight. I'm an old soul and I love to look toward the future with optimism. As dark as the world around us is, and the world has always been dark, I love to look to the future with optimism like we used to. So let us begin. The first article I have comes to us from Monochrome Watches. And this is an article on a watch that has a Damascus dial, so it looks very alien. This piece is the Sarpaneva Dragon Skin X, Justin Mastine Frost. Is that the whole watch name? And the tagline for this article reads, "It started with a typical, what if I had a crazy, weird, stupid idea and ended up stunning cool." And as you can see, that case and that bracelet is stunningly cool, or at least crazy and not typical. The handset and the markers on this watch are definitely spaceship style. Very Star Trek-ish. And as creative as that case, bracelet, and the hands are, the dial definitely takes the cake on this piece. That is super crazy. Just look at that dial. It looks like something straight out of Barbarella. Okay, so this piece is a collaboration between Justin Mastine Frost and Stepan Sarpaneva. And what's crazy is if you look at shots of multiple dials, there's quite a bit of difference between them color-wise. Some are more blue, some are more purple, but they all have those crazy sci-fi bubbles all over them. Interestingly, there's some exposed screws in the dial, and the crown is at the 4 o'clock. And that thing has some knurling on it. So this watch has some of the crazy details, sci-fi details, that you would see out of 1990s designs, but it's not organic and bubbly. This one is much more crisp and clean, and I feel like it should have come out in the 90s. Maybe it would have steered some other designers down a better path than they were going. I like the notches that are cut into this case, and that bracelet just kind of trips me out. That is so crazy looking. The movement inside these watches is a Chronode P1003. That's been modified. And it sounds like originally this was going to be a one-off, but they're actually making more of them, so they can be purchased. However, the price is upon request. That does not bode well. The case size on these is 42 millimeters. The case height is about 10 millimeters. The lug-to-lug is 46 millimeters. The crystal is sapphire. And each piece is unique, so the dial will be totally different from any of the other ones. And they're made upon special request. The next article comes to us from a blog to watch, and actually I picked this article out before I did my earlier video exploring the Nevada Grenchen catalog, so it's a little bit redundant. This is an article on the new dials that have come out on the F77s. So mainly we're just taking a look at some cool photos that they had taken of these different dials, like the blue one with the speckles on it, the subtle meteor dial. I kind of like that blue dial. It's like a night sky. And we get a good shot of the case back with that amazing etching in it. Yeah, the F77s are really cool. The next article I have comes to us from Monochrome Watches, and this is a review of a Baltic Chronograph. The Baltic Tricompax Tour Auto 2024. And this piece comes with a rally timer set? What? It's been a while now, but I did own a Baltic at one point in time, the Aquascaf, and that was an amazing watch. I would probably still own it if I hadn't encountered the Serica, which I was smitten by. But look at this chronograph. This thing is brilliant. I absolutely love that colorway. The cream dial with that shade of blue just looks so good. And all the other pops of color on the dial are just perfect. And look at those hands. I don't know if I've seen that before. They're kind of a brownish rust color. That's pretty cool. The font on the hour indices looks great. And the rally timers are super cool looking. I love that they have crosshairs on them. The case size on these watches is great at 39 millimeters. They're 13.5 millimeters thick. They have 50 meters of water resistance. The movement inside these watches is a Sellita SW510-M. And you get all this for about $2,000. I feel like Baltic is another brand that's doing amazing things. Nevada Grenchen and Baltic. And this last watch is really crazy. This is an article on a watch called the Boet Recital 28 Prowess 1. It doesn't necessarily have a futuristic look, it kind of does, but what it does do is definitely futuristic. This is a world timer mechanical watch that takes into account daylight savings. And what's really crazy about that is we see all of the time zones on the dial at once, and yet it still can handle daylight savings, at least for a couple countries that adhere to that. One would be my own country. Apparently it doesn't track Australia's daylight savings, so I guess they were kind of targeting their largest audiences, maybe? At least that's the theory from the article itself. But I'll grab a couple snippets from the video that's in this article so you can see this crazy world timer in action. So you push the crown in and it cycles through different daylight saving settings by flipping the indicators that are on that inner dial there. And it's really cool looking when you're setting the time because the 24-hour dial moves in sync with the hands. That's just crazy looking. And that isn't even the wildest part of this watch. It also has a tourbillon on it and a perpetual calendar. And the perpetual calendar doesn't even use standard wheels. As they're flipping over to new dates and whatnot, the author of the article in the video, or at least the video, likens it to a slot machine spinning away. That's pretty cool. It does have a standard wheel for the day of the week, but the other ones are not. And that tourbillon looks pretty crazy. The whole thing is skeletonized and has touches of cool blue colorways in there. However, when you're watching the video and you see it on the wrist or turned at certain angles, this is a really thick, chunky watch. By necessity of the date wheels alone. But yeah, it's a beast. I mean, it's almost 18 millimeters thick. The case is over 46 millimeters. It has a water resistance of 30 meters. The movement inside this is a Boet R28-70-00X. There are only 8 pieces produced per year, and the price is available upon request. Maybe that should be the theme of this episode of news. Watches so expensive we can't tell you how much they are. So there you have it, you are now caught up on the news. Thanks for watching.